let's talk about Sinatra, right? What's going on? What's happening? So, anyway, let's start from the beginning. Obviously, Sinatra, when he was playing professionally, around sort of 2020, 2021-ish, he was considered quite a good player, all right? Just to put it out there, he was a very, very good duelist at the time. He was playing like Raze, as you can see here, Raze, Phoenix, a bit of Reyna, and one match on Jet. That didn't really go very well, clearly. But at the time, when he was under Sentinels, obviously Tens was not in the picture at this point in time. He was kind of the star player. He was kind of the player that brought Sentinels to the forefront. And then kind of as soon as he was kind of out of it, that's obviously when Tens came in and Sentinels made this big push to be kind of the best team in the region, and and that kind of stuff. They kind of moved from there. However, obviously, Sinatra's story doesn't really end very well for him. Obviously, he was accused of SA by his former girlfriend, Cleo Hernandez. I will go through the story in a second. Give me a minute. But yes, he did play a lot of Sova as well. Obviously, he played Sova quite proficiently, I would say. Obviously, he's known for his little lineups. I know I've seen quite a few people say he was like one of the best like players when it came to lineups and shit. So I think he's definitely up there. So anyway, so Sinatra was accused of SA by his former girlfriend Cleo Hernandez. He basically teased that he would make a comeback a few months after the conclusion of the suspension. He was suspended for, as you can see here, he was suspended for 6 months by Riot Games, and I believe he was suspended by Sentinels as well. So he was suspended on all fronts. Basically, he couldn't compete. And that's what happened sort of to the start of 2021, moving towards the mid stage of the year. And since then, 2022 was pretty silent. I think he made his intention to return. Let me click on this and we'll show you. Yes, it was April 12th, 2022. Sinatra said, "It's been a year since I was forced to step back from competitive play," obviously referring to the suspension. In that time, I have learned a lot about myself and grown as a person. I am now ready to return to competitive play and will start tryouts this week. And obviously, at that time, I made quite a few reports about what Sinatra could potentially be doing. I believe there was, I'm pretty sure, chat can correct me on this, but I'm pretty sure there was a time when Sinatra was actually in the talks to actually rejoin Sentinels at a point. But obviously that did not come to fruition in the end. Sentinels went down a different route. However, he was in the conversation to rejoin the roster at the time. That was, as a chat just mentioned, that was when Sick left. Yes, obviously Sick went on a mental health break, I believe, at the time. So that was kind of Sinatra's, I guess, journey to where we are today. Obviously he still is a very good player. I think he's made that very clear. Obviously there is a lot of backlash still because of the fact that he was accused of SA and he wasn't convicted, so to say. The public opinion is one thing, but actually being convicted of a crime is something completely different, which he wasn't. He wasn't convicted of a crime. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that disregards everything, but we have to look at the fact that he wasn't convicted and his suspension was lifted. The Riot Games investigation, should we say in air quotes, that came under a lot of scrutiny at the time as well, because Sinatra posted a email that basically said he didn't have to undergo the training that Riot mentioned in their little statement. So obviously that caused a lot of controversy, and then supposedly he completed the training, and obviously the ban was lifted. So this is pretty much where we are now. Obviously since this tweet, Sinatra is yet to join a professional team, and he's obviously gone through his streaming career. Still, he's obviously a very successful streamer. Still has one of the biggest fan bases in Valorant, regardless of the allegations. And this is where we come to basically what's been like teased over the past kind of few months. Prod, obviously his friend and fellow streamer, if anything, pretty much owes quite a lot of his success to Sinatra. Obviously, Sinatra made quite a few reaction videos, I believe, at the time. He was very when Prod was kind of coming up as this kind of, you know, this really I don't want to say talented, because I wouldn't call him talented. I would say he had a very unique play style in ranked, and that obviously caught the attention of the likes of Sinatra and other players, and that kind of boosted Prod's standing. Obviously, he would later join organizations such as the Guard. He's now left the Guard, but that kind of boosted it a little bit further. Anyway, so Prod made a tweet earlier today, which was at 5 a.m. my time, but obviously it was late night for the Americans. He said that the Untamable Beasts team, which consists of him, Marv, obviously former Optic Gaming player, Sinatra, Dizzy, obviously former I believe he was wasn't Dizzy was he an Apex Legends player? I can't really remember. But I know he was a streamer. He obviously came to Valorant for a little bit under Sentinels, and Zoms, obviously former Sentinels player. So yes, obviously Dizzy coming from Apex, he was under NRG, I believe. So that is his story. Obviously these guys are all very close. They're all kind of in their own little circle, and this is kind of what's happening. So the question is whether this team is actually a thing. So first of all, I'm not sure if this is actually going to happen. I'm not going off of my own sources or anything. That's just my personal opinion. I don't know if this is going to happen because Prod is a pretty known troll when it comes to stuff like this. He's also mentioned it quite a few times to Sinatra that he could kind of formulate a team with him and then like dominate a last chance qualifier, or the Ascension League, as he likes to call it, which is so stupid it hurts my brain. But Prod, obviously not exactly the most intelligent Valorant player, so that would make complete sense. He believes that he can dominate the Ascension League with the likes of Sinatra and other pro players. But if this team does happen, it's kind of nasty. I'm not going to lie. This is kind of like a pretty sick ranked team if you was to kind of get these guys together. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of nuts. Marv, obviously, previously under Optic Gaming, was one of the best players in the world. Sinatra, at the time, when he was competing, obviously his Sova and then his Duelist, he was incredible. He was one of the best players in the region, arguably the best player in the region before kind of Tens came into that fold. Obviously, at the time, Tens was under Cloud9. And we've got Zoms, obviously formerly of Sentinels, very good smokes player. And Dizzy had that kind of short stint in Valorant. Now he's a streamer and played Apex professionally. But then Prod, it's like that meme. It's like the meme of like the army soldiers with like the clown. It's like, who let this guy in? You know what I mean? Like that. I feel like that's what Prod is in this situation. I feel like, yeah, Prod is a pretty big question mark. But it is what it is. Anyway, I wanted to bring up this. This is a video taken from Sinatra's stream when he spoke about a potential team with Prod. This was taken a month ago. So obviously, this is not new news, I guess, if you will. This is something that was spoken about before, but obviously is yet to come to fruition. So let's give this one a watch.
Can't wait to be seeing that on my team in the Ascension League. I'm so excited to play with you, J1.
He said the Ascension League. Who's in the Ascension League? Definitely not us.
Bro, no, we're actually qualifying. Like, have fucking, like, some good attitude.
Bro, I was a good player. You're shit. Obviously, we're gonna lose.
I just don't understand where all that animosity is from. Like, it's so fun. For like me, you, Marv, Shanks, Emil, like we're gonna fucking absolutely clobber the competition.
Obviously, at the time, you know, he suggested that Shanks and Emil would play with them, but obviously that's changed now. So.
Planted.
And if Emil doesn't play, we can get another fucking pro. So that means we have 5 pros on one team. So I got a question. Are you guys playing in the Ascension League?
Who, me?
Bro, it's not the qualifier, bro. Stop calling it the league.
But do you guys think you guys can beat me, Sinatra, Marv?
Oh my god, this guy is stupid.
Yeah, that's
fucking not. We're gonna fucking win that whole fucking thing, baby. That's why.
That's crazy.
Wait, think about it. I'm actually a fucking professional player if we make it into that fucking league. You know that, right?
No,
So no
you're
more
not
calling me a
getting paid
fucking
to
ring
play.
player. Yes.
No, you're not
No,
getting paid to play.
I will fucking sign to an organization for competitive play.
Wake up, bro.
I'll get us all signed.
100% we are not making it if we have Emil and you on the team.
Anyway, that was basically the gist of the clip. That was Sinatra talking about him potentially being on a team with Prod. Obviously, Sinatra isn't exactly, it doesn't seem like he's really up for it. But this is what's potentially happening. So, I would like to point out that the tournament that Prod is referring to here, the last chance qualifier, that is going to start next Monday, I believe. Somebody can correct me on that if I'm wrong. I believe it's... Oh, sorry, no, next Tuesday it starts. So that is when the last chance qualifier starts. And basically that is the final tournament, pretty much of the year, that teams have an opportunity to qualify for the Challengers Circuit. Obviously, the Challengers Circuit already has 6 teams, and it's going to be adding another 6, 4 of which will be from the Open qualifier, which is happening right now. I'll just get up the bracket for you guys so you can kind of see it. But yes, this is the tournament that's happening right now. It is the Challengers Open qualifier. Obviously, Sinatra and Prod, etc., they are not competing in this tournament. The tournament he is referring to is the last chance qualifier, which is this tournament, where only 2 teams can qualify for Split 1, which is the basically the 12 team tournament, where kind of the best teams in Challengers will compete against each other, and obviously it will go on to the mid-season invitational, second split, playoffs, and then the winner of the playoffs will go. Actually, is it the top 2 in playoffs or just the top team? I can't remember. Basically, the top team from the playoffs will go into the Ascension, which is basically the next stage above Challengers, but below the International League, where they will compete against other teams from, I believe, Latin America, South, North, and Brazil. And then the winner of that tournament will then qualify for a shot in the International League the year after, so 2024. And that's how the process goes. So there's quite a lot at stake. There is quite a lot at stake for these teams that are looking to basically get a shot at the big leagues, because it is quite it's quite an important series of tournaments for these guys. Obviously, if they do not qualify for either or this tournament, I guess if they're going to compete in it, then that's it, they're fucked, and they will need to ride it out till 2024. But obviously most of the guys on this potential lineup could easily get signed anyway, so that kind of defeats the purpose of that. But again, Prod, on the other hand, will definitely never be signed. This guy is awful, but at least some of the other players on his team could potentially carry him, and that'll be that'll be good, because Prod is not a good player. Sorry, I feel like this whole stream has been me just hating on Prod. I don't hate Prod. I think he's clearly got an edge in content creation, and it definitely didn't just ride the coattails of Sinatra to get to where he is, and basically just become a meme in order to become popular. But no, I think Prod is, he's a good guy. I've only had good conversations with him when I've spoken to him, so I don't have a problem with him at all. He's obviously, doing his best. Although, he is ascendant. But again, Marv, obviously, formerly one of the best players in the world. Sinatra, obviously, formerly one of the best players in North America. Obviously, we didn't get to see him play internationally. And then Dizzy, obviously the streamer, and Zoms, formerly of Sentinels, obviously won that international tournament. that is the Sinatra story, I guess. I think that pretty much covers it. The next topic that I'm going to talk about will be the beef between the coaches. Dizzy was supposed to be a Sentinels pickup at one point. No, yes, he was. There was a time where Dizzy was playing for Sentinels. It was quite a while ago. It was. Let me try and find it for you. But Dizzy was playing for Sentinels. Yeah, look, here it is. He played in the NSG Invitational with them. Obviously, that that didn't go too great. So yeah, there was a time when Dizzy was playing with Sentinels. But yes. Anyways, so that is Sinatra.